As Margaret mentioned, my name is Steve Chang. I'm an owner of a company called, with my wife Elena, who's back there with the camera, a company called Copa Vida. Copa Vida means cup of life, and we didn't call our company Cup of Life because we think coffee is the meaning of life. But whenever someone says to you, let's go get a cup of coffee, they're not saying, let's get caffeinated, right? What are they saying? They're saying, I'd like to sit down and share a cup of life with you, talk about something, right? So when they say, hey, come and have a cup of coffee with me, that's not a 5-minute activity. That's going to take a little time. Or when my wife says, I'm gonna go have tea with my girlfriends, that's not 30 minutes, that's probably about 3 hours, right? And because there is this whole sort of ritual, relationship, community built around the idea of sharing life over a cup. And that's why it's called Cup of Life. When I get asked that question as to what my favorite coffee is, I actually end up talking about context more than the coffee. So everywhere I went, I've tried different kinds of coffee, everything from Turkish coffee to different kinds of espressos to pour-overs from all over the world, Japanese drip. There's coffee made in so many different ways. But one of my favorite memories is actually being in Costa Rica on the side of a mountain, picking cherries with everybody who works there. And then during coffee break, we all stop and they have this campfire kettle, and they bring out this gooseneck wood-looking contraption, and there's this sock. That's the best way to describe it. It looks like cheesecloth in a tube sock form, and they hand grind the coffee, dump it in there, and pour water through there, and whatever comes out at the bottom is your coffee. And while it sounds romantic, the coffee itself was horrible. You could feel the grit across your teeth as you're drinking it because the cloth itself wasn't fine enough to capture all the solids, so it was just kind of coming through. And obviously the water temperature is not right. There's so many things wrong with that. But sitting on the side of a mountain drinking coffee with the people who pick it, there's nothing more romantic than that, right? And there's nothing more wonderful than that. And it was one of those moments where I realized it's not so much about how it tastes as much as it's going to be about the context with which you're drinking it. I don't have a playbook. Every time I ran into a wall, I made a right turn, right? I mean, that's it. So I tried this, it didn't work, so I go this way. Oh, that works for a while, and then that stops working, then I go another way. That's how I've, made things work so far. It isn't necessarily that there was some secret book I read or someone gave me the understanding of how to make money or how to have a great successful coffee business. It doesn't exist. Things happen, you pivot, you react to it, and then you let creativity take over. And that's true whether it's in, I think, business or coffee or in art. A lot of times it's the canvas that tells you what's gonna go on next. It's not you. Something will happen, you'll miss a paint, or something went wrong with the brush, but then that leads to another direction, and it leads to the next direction, leads to the next direction, and in that comes the creativity that you get to put in there that makes whatever you just did unique. This coffee is not a perfect cup of coffee. I can tell you that right now. It took a little longer than I liked. That means my grind setting wasn't quite what I want it to be, right? But guess what I get to do next? Taste it and adjust it, right? And that's the thing that's enjoyable for me the most about coffee, is that it's an affordable luxury where I can do this a few times, share it with people, and then when it's not exactly right, do it again, right? Start over, and it's okay. You get that.